Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. So today's session, as you already know that, it's dedicated to time management. So I'll first say that whatever we will discussing, it has scientific back, and there are references which probably will provide either in the description or we'll send it to you personally. So these are all scientific based methods. So these surveys have been conducted, and then people have been asked, okay, what are the problems that you face in day-to-day life, and the solution have been given, and there are good books written on these also. Okay, so how would start the session is today? I'll ask you to ask me questions. So you should ask me loads of questions, and then we'll slowly and slowly get towards the core of the problem and then see solutions also. Okay, and starting with anyone who can raise your hand and ask me questions. Yes, Fahad has a question. Okay, let's write the question. This is question one from Fahad. Yes, yes, Fahad, go ahead.
My question is that how should the time management of an ideal person working in IT, how should he utilize his time? How should his daily life, how should he utilize his time?
Okay, okay. Let me give you a broad answer also. So I'll mostly talk about these techniques, and then you can just take the bits and pieces that you would like to incorporate in your life also. Okay. So the first thing is, as let's suppose you are working in IT, it's not per se or you're working in IT only. Some people may also be working somewhere else, or they may be doing some day-to-day task. The first thing that you should take care is you should learn to plan. Okay, you should learn to plan. Plan is the most important thing. So what planning does basically is it will sort of take your brain into the future, and it will think about it, what to do in the future. So this planning is really important, and some people micro plan, that's all unnecessary. But what you can do is you basically should do time blocking. So let's suppose you have list of tasks. So list of tasks. So for that, for them, what you should do is, so I'll just switch the screen so you can also see it. So first thing is you should plan the thing. You should plan. You should have a plan, and then you should in plan what you can do is you can list the number of tasks that you have to do. Okay, and after you list the tasks, then you should give them appropriate time. So you should assign time. Assign time to these things. Usually this planning should not take you more than 30 minutes of the day. Otherwise you will love planning, you will plan things, and you won't be able to do anything, and whole of that dopamine release will go into this planning, and then you will feel as if you have done those things. So it is better not to over plan. So the first thing that you have to do is to plan. Now there is a concept called as Eisenhower's Matrix. Okay, and I hate these names because I don't want to take these names, but these are the things that people gave these things those names. So how should you make it? So there are 4 boxes usually people say. So the first thing is, if you now make a list of tasks and you have to assign time. So after you assign time and after you made the list of tasks, so what the first thing that you should do is you should have 2 categories: urgent, okay, important. Okay, urgent important means, like, if some task is urgent, if you have some task which is urgent and is important also, so this is the task you should prioritize first. And then some task may be important, it may not be urgent. Okay, and some may be urgent but not important. Okay, and some may be, it may not be urgent and it may not be important also. Okay, some tasks are like this, so they are not important also, they are not urgent. So what you should do is you should do these tasks first, do this first, because as you know that these are urgent. So urgency here is time bound, so you'll have to do it with time. So important means it'll have an impact on your life. So if something is urgent and important, you should sort of prioritize that thing first. Okay, you have list of tasks, let's suppose A, B, C, D, E, F, something like this. Then what you can do is, it's not for just for the day planning. So first thing is you should plan, let's suppose for your week or 2 weeks, these tasks that I want to achieve in these 2 weeks. Then you should come to the daily planning, how to achieve this. So after having the list of tasks, after knowing the time, how much time will each task take roughly, so what you can do is you can make a thing like this: is it urgent and is it important? So if it is urgent, also important, and try to do it first. So, and if it is not urgent but it's important, try to schedule it somewhere. Try to schedule it in your timetable. Okay, I want to do it, maybe it's not urgent, but I'll schedule it within next 2 days or within next 1 day. Okay, if it's urgent and it's very important, and it's not important, it's urgent, it's not important, try to delegate it. By delegate I mean, if you can take help from somebody, if somebody can do it for you, okay, because it's urgent but it's not important for you. Okay, so you should see the importance also. Does it benefit? So by importance I mean, does it benefit? Okay, so by urgency I mean time, and by important I mean does it benefit you. Okay, it may be important for somebody else also. So here you are thinking from the personal perspective. Okay, if I see my task, I can make these four categories. It may be urgent, important, do it first. It may not be urgent, but it's important to me. Okay, schedule it. So here example would be, let's suppose you have an assignment. So here you have an assignment due on I think 6th of August. So that's urgent and that's also important. Urgent why? Because the deadline is on 6th. Why is it important? Because you learn a lot of skills after doing the assignment. Something is not urgent but it's important. That is learning AI/ML as a whole. If you are learning something, artificial intelligence, machine learning, if you are learning something else, that may not be urgent because you are not having that time constraint. But it is important for you because it personally benefits you. So you should schedule it. It should not be kept. Let's suppose I won't do it. You should schedule it somewhere. Then if something is urgent, it's not important. Let's suppose, as in my case, I usually, if I have to write messages, okay, messages are urgent but they are not important to me. So what I'm doing is I usually delegate them. I ask the coordinators, can you write a message here? Okay, or if they call me, I'll tell them this is my schedule, so can you just drop this message in the group. I just roughly write some things and then they curate a good message because that's urgent for me, but it's not important because it does not add any value in my life. So what I can do is, and I know that coordinators can do a better job at this than me. So what I'll do, I'll delegate the task. Okay, what I can do is I'll just give them tidbits and they'll formulate a good message and they'll finish this urgency criteria, and it's not important to me also. Then the last thing is, it is not urgent and it's not important. Okay, so what you should do is, when you have all these things completed, then you should think about this. That's the first thing. If you are planning, so this is the first thing that you should do. You should know what to do. If you do not know what to do, that's a problem then. As you said, let's suppose as an IT employee, so they have a life to live. Okay, there are a lot of tasks they have to do. So usually when I wake up or maybe when I sleep, I have a rough idea about what I'm going to do tomorrow. Okay, and I have, let's suppose, my days scheduled like this. So this is my, let's suppose, my day. So what I do is, I'm saying I have to study this. This is my personal thing I have to study. Okay, and then for the work, what I have to do, there will be a list of tasks that I'll be working today, or maybe I'll be working for next 1 month or so. So what I can do is I can just list them. Okay, this is the thing that I have to work for next, and then I see, okay, what to prioritize. Let's suppose right now we are working on some med AI use case. Okay, in which we are taking a report of the, we are taking these lungs X-ray and some information called clinical, non-clinical data, and then we are coming up with the report. Okay, so what I am doing is I am writing those tasks that I have to achieve. That is my this is my daily task. Let's suppose 3-4 tasks came that I have to achieve. If I could not even achieve those tasks, but still I have sort of like lived my future. I said, okay, these are the 4 tasks that I have to do. Okay, because I know my goals. If you can see the games, why do you play games much? Because in games, you know, you have to cross levels. Usually people say you should gamify it. What is the meaning of gamify? Because in games you have a target, okay, and you know how to unroll it. But in day-to-day life, that's where people miss out. People do not have a concrete plan of achieving things. Okay, if you see this life as a life like this, okay, you have to do work and just break it into chunks. If you break it into chunks and then roughly assign time. Let's suppose this is my task A, task B, task C, D, E, F, something like this. So what you can do is you can just estimate. Task A probably will take 60 minutes. Task B will probably take some 30 minutes. So roughly you can make the time. And I won't say it will be accurate. It's all right if you can make rough estimations. But what will this rough estimation give you? It will give you a high level idea. Okay, this is the time that I need. Okay, let's suppose if these things sum up to some 10 hours. So I may think, okay, let's reduce this because I cannot work for 10 hours. So what I should do is, I ideally should work for 7-8 hours on this. So I'll just remove some tasks and delegate it to some other day. I'll just move it, schedule it to some other day. Okay, this is how you should plan. So this is the planning part. Okay, again reiterating this thing, just break down your tasks and assign them time. Okay, assign them time. How much time does it take? Let's suppose for your example, if you are covering lectures, so you are reading, let's suppose we have covered Python. So now you are starting it from scratch. You are starting Python from scratch. What you can do is you can go on YouTube playlist. You can see, okay, what is the material that I am reading for this. So for Python, I am watching lectures. Let's suppose there are 10 lectures. I am watching 10 lectures. Okay, and each lecture is, let's suppose, roughly of 1.5 hours. Okay, that's 15 hours of content. Then I have to do, let's suppose, some 3 assignments, suppose. And roughly each of the assignment takes some 3 hours. That's 9 hours. And then what I have to do, I have to do some reading also. I have to do some reading from this textbook. And let's suppose this takes 10 hours. Now roughly you have an idea. In order to cover Python, and how many hours are required? 25 plus 9 is 34. So I I have to spend 34 hours on this task. So now you know you have a Broadway plan, and you can think, okay, for the Python, what I'll do is I'll daily give 2 hours. Okay, I'll daily give 2 hours. That gives me 17 days. So in 17 days, I would cover this thing. Okay, because 2 hours each day means for the content I have 34 hours. Or okay, 34 hours of this thing, and I'm giving 2 hours daily. That means I have to give 17 days. So if I now give 17 days, keep some room, keep plus minus some 2 days. Think that maybe someday I might not be well, some things may come up, and you don't know. So that you don't miss the target. Keep this room also, 17 days plus this 2, and then schedule it. Okay, and schedule it day wise. Okay, this day I have 2 hours, this day I have 2 hours, and then keep on subtracting this. What you are now doing is second thing. When you are planning, and after that you are doing progress monitoring. You are monitoring your progress. Okay, let's suppose now 34, and you did today 2 hours, so you will write 2:34. Now you are seeing that you have progress, and it's really good if you can maybe make an Excel sheet, write a program on this, so that you can visually see those things. I'm getting closer, I'm getting closer. So it's like this bar is like this. This is 0 to 34. So when you are on this, so in 2 days, maybe these two get filled, and then you are seeing how much is left there. Okay, and it may not be accurate. Okay, and it will not be accurate for most of the times. But what will happen is, and it's not accurate, but still you have you have that ballpark vision. At least you know where I will land. Okay, this is the first thing that you should do: plan and then monitor the progress. Okay, because what you are doing here is you are quantifying the things. If you cannot quantify, if you cannot measure a thing, then it becomes a havoc. It will become a problem for you people, because you are not knowing what I'm doing. Okay, let's suppose right now I just took the example of Python. You can take example of anything. Okay, and any learning, any task. Roughly you can assign some time to it. I'm not saying be precise, be accurate. No, roughly assign some time according to your own abilities. Okay, well, how much time does it take to you? Okay, now after that, when you assign the time, then try to monitor the progress. Okay, when you monitor the progress, you know how close you are or how far you are. Okay, and from the estimation that you have made. Okay, that's how you should do it. So first thing is plan things properly. When you plan the things and then assign them the time. Once you have the time, now what you are doing is basically you are quantifying, you are doing the measurement. This measurement is a beautiful thing. Okay, in games, why am I relating it to games? Because that's why people get addicted. Or maybe let's suppose some movies. Because at the back of the mind, you know that I have to watch a movie, and you know it's time back at the back of the mind. You know that this movie is for 2.5 hours. This movie is for 3 hours. Okay, some time you have, and when you download a video, subconsciously your eye goes to that. Okay, what is the length of this? Okay, and even when let's watch a web series, what do you see? How many episodes are there? Because your brain then trains you. Okay, I have watched. Let's suppose these are 20 episodes. If I watch one episode daily, you know how much time it will take. This much time is to be allotted on this, and that is going on subconsciously. But here, nobody is doing it that for you. But what you have to do is you have to do it for yourself. You have to plan, and you have to progress. You have to monitor your progress. Whatever progress you are doing, you have to monitor that. Because otherwise, you never know, have I finished something? Do I know it or do I not know it? Okay, what should be done? That's what I'm saying here. Some people, I usually use this word information obesity. Info obesity. So what I mean by that is, because if you don't have a plan and you are going to learn Python, you will never end up learning things. Why? Because you will go on YouTube and you will find a humongous number of information. You will see there's loads and loads of tutorials. This and that is there. Okay, what to follow now? You have in the first stage you are trapped. Because what you can do, you don't plan, so you'll say, okay, I'll watch this playlist one video. Then you suddenly feel, okay, let me change. I saw some other playlist also. So before starting anything, it's better to plan. So because when you plan, so you'll be stuck to that. Okay, and once you are stuck in that environment, and then you will try to achieve that goal first before moving to the second thing. Okay, that's where you will stop yourself from taking loads of information, and after that you won't be able to process it either. So it's better find maybe some difficult courses, but be convinced that this is the thing that I have to do today, or this is the thing I have to do for next 7 days, and then make the plan. Have a high level view of next 7 days. Okay. And even if you are students, have a high level view of full semester, because your semester is also 5 months long. So you write the high level tasks. These are the 7 things or 8 things that I want to achieve in this semester. I want to learn this thing, I want to learn this. Then do the micro study. Okay, then do, okay, I want to achieve now. Let's suppose in the semester you want to learn, this semester you want to learn AIML, you want to learn Python, let's suppose, and you want to learn a lot of things. So what you can do is, then you can sort of make micro schedules for these. Okay, what are the things that I have to do in AIML? What are the things that I have to do in Python? What are the things that I have to do in other topics? And this will sort of help you in managing the time first. And why is this important? Why is this important? Why should you not watch much of roadmaps? The problem is you should find the roadmaps yourself, because that's where the actual learning happens. Okay, usually what people do is roadmap for this. The guy who has made the roadmap is the one who is going to learn. But if you are taking that information without any thinking, you are not learning at all. So it's better to come up with your own roadmaps, come up with your own things, how I can achieve this. And it will vary a lot. And this is a life skill. This is a life skill to have. So before watching these roadmap stuff, okay, just search for generic things and then come up with a roadmap yourself. And then probably at the end of your, when you are done with this researching, then you can compare these things with the roadmaps that people have given online. And then you see, because your own brain is now on work. So that's the most important thing I wanted to ask. So as an IT employee, the question was, if somebody is an IT employee and he has to manage this thing, so you should be a lifelong learner. You should always keep that thing, okay, I have to learn some new things. Otherwise, you will become dinosaur in, let's suppose, couple of years. Because whatever you have studied right now, and if you don't learn new things in coming 5 years, so what will happen is you will basically lose all the stuff, and you will become basically you will become like a dinosaur, and they will have no purpose, because the technology and these things are evaluating so fast. So you should be in touch with these things. Okay, and this was the first answer to the first question. Now I'll speak about some more things, how to achieve these things. Okay, how to achieve these things. The first thing is, I said, is plan and then progress monitor, and then time block also. Now you have to do time blocking. So usually how I see my day is, I see my day in chunks of 1 hour. Okay, since I wake up till my sleep, I see my days in chunks of 1 hour. But it's not effective. But you should see your day in chunk of 15 minutes. But at a high level, you should see your day in the chunk of 1 hour. So let's suppose I wake up at 5. Okay, I see it like this: 5 to 6. 6 to 7, okay, something like this, till I sleep. I'll make a routine like this, and I have an Excel sheet. Probably I'll send you after this session. So this is how you should time block now. So now you know, okay, this time I am waking up. Okay, you have a rough plan for the day, and then you should just block the time. You should say for this task, let's suppose for Python, I am giving from 12 to 1. This is Python. Okay, then you should report also here. So here should be your report. Because I told you have to monitor the progress. Once you block the time, then you have to see, in this 1 hour I spent, let's suppose, some 30 minutes reading Python, something like this, and then you will get at the end of the day how much have you studied. So time blocking is the most important thing. Once you plan, and once you know, once you have that thing, if the ballpark vision, okay, this is the time, and then you have to do this time blocking. You should block your time in the calendars, or you should make an Excel sheet of your own, whatever you are doing is, but you should be having a rough plan. And there are good apps also. You can use apps for this also, and they'll give you reminders also. Usually I use Google Calendar. There's an Outlook calendar also. A lot of things are there where you can block these things. Okay, it hardly takes in the initial go, probably it may take you 30 minutes, but after you are like sort of accustomed with it, it will hardly take you 15 minutes. Okay, and then what you should time blocking, and before even this time blocking, you should know how to get things done. Okay, if there is a big thing, let's suppose in Python, I just told you, so you should be able to break it into small blocks. Okay, you should be able to do that, make those small blocks and make actionable steps, maybe organized into categories. Okay, I'm learning Python basics, then probably a Python intermediate, Python advanced, I'm learning, let's suppose, Python for this project, and stuff like that. Okay, and these are the things. So first, I'll just summarize this. So first you should plan. So in planning, what I meant is, so you should list down the tasks that you have to do, and then you have to, after that, approximate time. After you are done with this, then you have to monitor your progress. You have to monitor your progress, and in that you have to also time block the time and monitor your progress. What are the other things that I showed? And then you have to, even in this planning, you have to break down things in small tasks. Okay, break down things in small tasks. And did I discuss something else? This is the view that I showed you. And after you are done with this, and then avoid multitasking, please. Okay, avoid multitasking. So what I mean by multitasking is, you should not do a couple of things together. Let's suppose right now I'm teaching to you, at the same time probably I'll be talking to somebody else. Then I cannot give my sort of full attention to you. So it is better you should not divide your attention. By avoiding, you should not divide your attention. Okay, you should not divide the attention. When you're doing a thing, you should do that thing. Okay, and then you should be taking breaks, taking frequent breaks, not just breaks, taking frequent breaks. What I mean by breaks is, so there's a technique called as Pomodoro, and all these things that I am showing is they are scientifically proven, and I have more or less used all of these techniques in my life, and I have seen the results that when I was too unorganized, when I became organized, and there was a sudden shift in my thinking also and in my productivity. So Pomodoro basically means, what you can do is, you can have 25 minutes of focus time wherever you do your work or you study something, whatever, and then you have 5 minutes of rest, and then again 25 minutes of work, and then 5 minutes rest. Okay, and then after that again 25 minutes of work. Okay, so maybe after this, after 3 Pomodoros, you can have 20 to 30 minutes of rest, something like this. Okay, so here what usually you do, you'll have these timers. You will see, okay, I'll work for 25 minutes with focus, and you know that you have these 5 minutes to rest afterwards. You can do whatever you want in that. You can probably go for a tea, go for a coffee, go talk to some friend, call somebody. Okay, and that you can do in these 5 minutes. Again 25, then 5 minutes. Again 25, then a huge chunk. So this way your brain will not get fatigued. Okay, this is again, so this is for the concentration, how you can concentrate on a job. So I said avoid multitasking. Okay, and by that, because you will be dividing other attention otherwise if you do the multitasking. And the second thing is, you should take frequent breaks. So now in breaking, what we should do is, this is not 25 minutes, is not usually what people can do is, they can, if they think that their focus time is less, okay, let's do one thing, we can decrease this time. We can say for the initial period, let's say for 2-3 weeks, I'll just focus for 15 minutes, then I'll take break for 5 minutes. Okay, or maybe if somebody's focus time is more, they can say, okay, I'll first have focus for 50 minutes, then I'll take a 10-minute break. But breaks are important. Why? So our brain gets fatigued. Okay, so when you basically see something and continuously are in that, after a certain period of time, your brain will get fatigued. So it's better to take frequent breaks. In those, you can whatever you want to do, you can do that. And then after that, you should also learn to say no. So what I mean by learning say no is that if something came up, let's suppose if something came up, you should be able to say no at that point of time. You should not address to every stimulus. If let's suppose some notification came on the phone and you are saying, okay, I'll see the notification, you should not see it. You should say, no, I'll not see the notification. I have my breaks scheduled, I'll see those notifications in that. Okay, I have my big breaks also. I'll sort of fix those times where I can attend to these things. Or somebody asks you something, oh, can you do this for me? Okay, can you just wait, because 25 minutes is nothing. Can you wait for 25 minutes? Okay, can you wait for 15 minutes? I'll do it after that. Okay, or maybe if something requires a lot of attention, you can say no, directly no, because if it takes too much time and it's not aligned to your benefit, or if it's not aligned to your goals, so you should be able to say no to these things. Not just to the people. Usually people might say he's telling us to say no to people. It's not just saying no to people. It is saying no to these notifications that come on your phone, no to these calls. Okay, when somebody calls on your phone, say no to this call, and then probably call them back whenever you have the time. And be in control of your time. Don't let other people control your time. Okay, what you should do is, so when you have time, then only do these things. When you have an assigned time for the work, only work that time. Okay, that's what I mean by saying no to the things. Okay, and use technology very wisely. There are so many apps, so many things by which you can do, and I usually use Excel sheets. I use Excel sheets, and there is, for Pomodoro, there are clocks. Okay, I had a clock on my desk where I used to do that, and there are also to-do list apps, and there are calendars. A lot of calendars are there where you can do this, and then you should also be able to adjust things. So you should also be able to adjust. So what I mean by adjustment is that if you made a plan, you won't be able to follow it 100%. That's for sure, because something or other will come, and where you cannot say this no, because you can't say everything no to everything. So what you have to do, you should keep the room at least for some time. So if something came up, I'll put that thing in here. Okay, I am not telling you not to use mobile phones. I am not telling you to switch off your social media. I am telling you, okay, use the social media, but have time for that also. Okay, what you should do is, okay, if you are using YouTube, if you are using, let's suppose, Instagram, I can't say that you should not use them. Why? Because the problem is that if I say, even after that, you'll be still using that. You'll have that urge, because that's how these social medias were made. They were made so that people fall into this trap. Okay, and if you, okay, it's all right if you fall into that trap, because that's how it was designed. So now, what you can do is, you can schedule your things such and such that you'll also keep the time for the Instagram. Okay, let's suppose you have your whole dinner. As I said, I usually use per hour. I divide my full day into hours, 1 hour, 2 hour. Let's suppose you can keep room for here. You can say in this where I have, let's suppose my snacks, and probably I'll use my phone also for 1 hour. It's all right. And maybe if you use phone, I don't know what you do on the phone, but you can use it here. But do not leave the thing unattended. Otherwise, you'll use the phone everywhere. When you know, our brain has a tendency, so our brain is configured like this. If you have something in your brain, it's not for the memorization. Our brain does memorization, but the ideal task of brain is thinking. Okay, it memorizes some part because thinking requires memorization. So let's suppose if you have something to do, it will continuously pop up. It will continuously say, okay, do this, do this, do. It will continuously give those ideas to you. So it is better write it somewhere. Okay, whenever that idea of using the phone, okay, I have to use the phone. Now you have an answer to the brain. You are saying to your brain, I have kept that hour. Okay, I kept this 1 hour. I'm going to utilize this phone that time. When you do this, so you are basically offloading your brain. So you are taking the information out and you are writing it somewhere, and your brain is kind of relaxed. It won't remind you again and again after that, because as I said, our brains are not designed to memorize a lot of things. They're designed to think more. They're designed to reason, critically think. So that's the reason when you are doing something, suddenly you remember, oh, somebody messaged me on WhatsApp. Oh, I had to call that person. Oh, I had to do this. Then you immediately switch from the task. Rather than doing what you were doing, you leave and you take out your phone and you do those things. So I'm not saying you should not do them. Do it. But what am I saying is that you have to address this to your brain. You have to tell your brain that I have kept 1 hour for these things. Okay. Whenever you remember that thing, just note it down. Okay, this is the thing I have. I have to check messages. I have to make a call, something like this, and put everything in this bucket. Put everything in that 1 hour in which you have kept that I'll use a mobile phone. And this way you are sort of navigating, hacking your brain. You are not addressing to every stimulus it gives. You are being in control of your time. Okay. So I have covered something so far. Any questions? Any questions till now? Yes, Asif has a question. Yes.
How we can divide the time between different tasks? Let's say today I have to do 5 or 6 tasks. When I am doing task 1 or task 2, I end up spending my whole day on particular 1 or 2 tasks.
Right. So that's why if you have listened carefully, what I said is you should make these tasks, let's suppose, so that it's manageable. So if you have task 1, okay, task 1 takes 30 hours. So that what I said is, okay, today you will only work for 2 hours on this, and 2 hours basically means I should be taking such a subtask from this task which is achievable in 2 hours, which I can do in 2 hours. Okay, maybe it can be then, let's suppose 1.5 hours. You can only finish it 1.5. Or sometimes it can go to 2.5. It's all right. You can miss the targets, but still you have a ballpark. And you should also use what's called as interleaving. So what's the meaning of interleaving is, as I said, our brain gets fatigued. So if you have task 1, task 2, and these are from totally different domains, and you should pick that wisely. Okay, if you are working, let's suppose, on, as your students, you will be having computer networks, operating systems, some subjects like this. Oh. So you have this computer networks, operating system. So what you can do is, you should not only read about computers for the whole day. Why? Your brain will get fatigued. Okay, and then the problem will be you won't be able to focus on the similar thing for long duration of time, because our brain is not designed so much. That's why these Instagram, Facebook, and these reel shorts get famous. Why? Because they are not being on constant topic. They constantly hover over the topics. So first they'll show you one video, okay, and they won't remain the topic. They'll just change the topic. Suddenly they'll change. Let's suppose you searched a short video on, let's suppose, how to perform. Let's suppose if you are doing some gym or something, and you are doing that. So what you can do is, when you search that video, suddenly it will pop up some new video. It will keep on diverting the topics, because our brain designed this way. It gets more stimulus when we do a lot of different things. So what I'm saying is, take this subject, computer networks, and do this thing. Okay, and then let's suppose you are doing some app development. Take this operating system and do this. Let's suppose do this for 2 hours, and then take a break. This break should be around 20 or 30 minutes in between. Why? Because there is something called as residue. So what I mean by residue is, when you learn a thing and when you leave that thing, there is still something going in the brain that's called as residue. You won't be able to focus directly on this task very fast. So what you should do is, you should leave some time where you can do something else, maybe call somebody, maybe do some other activity, and then switch the task to. And this is called as interleaving. By interleaving, I mean do 2-3 things in the whole day. Do not have like this, I'll just do for the whole day, I'll only do task 1. And you will feel that you haven't achieved much also, and then your understanding of the thing is also not getting better. So there is an experiment done basically on driving, when people were taught driving. Okay, So let's suppose driving takes some 4 hours to learn. So what has been seen is, if you teach a person for the straight 4 hours, you'll teach straight 4 hours, what will happen? What will happen to that person? Maybe they learn. Okay, the person may learn. Okay, now if you do one thing, if you do this interleaving, if you take daily, let's suppose 1 hour daily. Okay, and these people learn better, who interleaved these things. They did something and they gave brain the rest. Okay, they thought, because our brain, it's more or less working like a computer also. So because whatever you see today, it has to process the information. You should give it time to process the information. If you don't give it time to process the information, then what will happen is, it will keep on accumulating and keep on forgetting. Accumulate a lot of information and then you will forget. So it is better to interleave these things. Okay, do task 1 and then stop doing task 1 today, and maybe keep it for tomorrow. And after that, when you do it tomorrow, when you interleave this thing, and your learning will be more, because you are giving the brain time to think about it, to ponder over it. Because when you sleep, a lot of things go on. So there was an experiment done on humans. So what they were told is, they were told to play some game, and in that game they had to do a certain task. Okay, so they had to perform a certain task, and they were playing some game, and after that they were told to sleep. So when they performed, let's say when they played the game for maybe 30 minutes or so, so they were told, you should sleep now. So when they slept, some of them had those dreams. Okay, they were playing those games or something. Okay, and some people were asked that you can play this game for maybe 40 minutes. Sorry, maybe you can play this game for 40 minutes. So what happened? The people who slept and maybe dreamt about that game, or they gave the brain at least the time to sort of understand the process, at least time to absorb this whole thing. On the next day, these people were able to play better. They're able to play better. But why? Because the information was being processed by the brain. As I gave 2 examples. One example was, if you want to learn driving, or if you want to learn any new skill, so it is better to interleave it. Do not go and rush continuously. And this might be an experience for you also, when you binge watch something. Okay, if you watch something, maybe you sort of understood that thing, but if you watch that thing again after a while, you somehow have that feeling, I have forgotten many things among this. That's how, because brain was not able to process such an information. Because after all, our brain is also limits. It is not limitless. So our brain has limits. So if you give it a lot of information, so what it can simulate, maybe whatever dopamine, whatever serotonin you are releasing at that time, it will release those things. But after a while, because this work or this what are things that you are doing, learning, it requires some part of it, requires some reasoning part. So for that, you have to give some brain some rest. Okay, and thinking is an important aspect. So I'll again give an example here. So there was again an experiment done. So in this experiment, so there were 2 groups of people. So let's suppose here there were 5 people, and here group 2 had also 5 people. So this is group A and group B. They were learning to play a new game. Okay, they were learning to play a new game. So this group A, they were told to physically practice. They were told, you should go in the ground and physically practice the things. And they went to the playground or whatever the game it was, maybe let's suppose basketball. They played daily for 30 minutes. And these group B people, they were asked, okay, you should not go in the ground, but in 30 minutes, you should imagine that you are playing. You close your eyes, or howsoever you want to imagine. You imagine that you are playing in 30 minutes. You are going here and there, but you should intensely think about it. Okay, they were forcefully made to think. Okay, so when they are forcefully made to think, what happened? And after a lot, let's suppose after 30 days, these people were tested. Okay, how much they have learned. So they have learned almost similar. So both of these groups have learned and these people played physically, but these people only imagined the things mentally. So it showed you that physical and these mental, it's almost similar. Maybe these people were better because they played physically and they learned a lot, but these people also learned. It's not they haven't learned. So imagination has a lot of power, because after all, when you learn something, the representation is in the brain. When you learn to play cricket, you don't forget it. Why? Because something happened to your brain. The brain is now controlling your arms. The brain is now controlling your probably your limbs, and it's controlling the energy you gave. Okay, and there is a representation of that thing into your brain that you don't know what representation it is in the brain. Okay, if you can imagine it continuously, that's why people who watch the games also play better. Let's suppose if you watch cricket, automatically you learn some shots. Okay, you know how to play cover drive, how to do certain things. Why is it so? Because you are training your brain at the same time. So imagining is very important part. That's what I'm doing. Sleep is doing that. So when you sleep or when you take rest, So that information is processed by the brain, and it is there are a lot of focus areas in the brain where it is transferred. So just think it as in the computer we have this primary memory, and then we have the secondary storage. Primary memory it lost for very small time. So when you have something in that, if you just cut off the power, it will go away. Similarly, with our brain, we have that memory which works in time. Let's suppose I'm talking to you right now. I'm forming some sentences right now. So my brain does not transfer it to the permanent memory. Okay, what it does is I'm speaking right now, I'm in time. So even after I'm sort of done with this session, I probably will remember the high level idea whatever I spoke, but I can never be able to speak the same words in the same order. It's not possible humanly. Why? Because brains are not there to memorize. Brains are not there to memorize. They memorize, it's a good thing, but they are there to process, they are there to reason, they are there to compute the things. Okay. So this was the answer to the question, that if I have to focus on tasks. So first thing is have the rough idea of how many hours and divide into subtasks, and then interleave between things. Do not try to do things at stretch. Do not try to give 10, 20, 30 hours. If this is per se learning. If it's some physical job, you can probably give it. But if it's a learning thing, if you have to learn some things, if it is a job where you have to use your mental ability, so it is better to interleave. I hope I answered the question. Any other questions? Mohsin, can you read the questions? Yes, yes.
Yes, I can. So I have been preparing for GATE exam for past 6 months. I'm able to study only 5 hours, and after that it becomes tough to study. Please give him some advice.
Yes, yes. If you are able to study for 5 hours are enough. So 5 hours of full focus is more than enough. But I don't know how you measure time. Okay, so usually measurement should be done right also. So what I mean by measurement is you should be able to track your time. Let's suppose you planned I'll work for 1 hour. So in that 1 hour, what you are doing is you are sometimes picking up phone, and you are sometimes reading something, and then suddenly going here and there. And all in all, you spent 1 hour. Let's suppose you spent 10 to 11 on this task, but effectively you have just studied for probably 15 minutes or so. And you know, like the highest the people I have seen, they cannot study for more than 10 hours. The most efficient people I have seen in life, they cannot work for more than 10 efficient. By efficient I mean if you clock their time. So if you clock their time, more than 10 hours is very difficult. Very difficult if you study with full intensity. So okay, it's not humanly possible to study more than 10 hours. But if you even study, let's suppose for 5 to 7 hours with full intensity, that's more than enough. That's more than enough. Because Al-Ghazali, he has written more than 70 books, and these books are like the best. Okay, and if you read them, you will be awestruck by his thinking. So he has written so many books in such a short period of time. He claims that he used to only study for 6 hours. But the thing is, why were these people even having this less time of 6 hours, and then they were able to achieve so much? This all boils down to focus. Okay, this all boils down to deep work. How much deep work are you doing? Okay, and you know, doing some mental activity, it's exhausting. It's more exhausting than physical things. I have experienced those things. When you do something mentally, and if you are doing it for 5 to 7 hours, you literally have no ounce of energy left after 5 to 7 hours. And this is bound to happen if you do deep work. By deep work I mean you are fully focused on your work. You are not distracting yourself from here and there, and then probably do something else. Then you are not measuring the time right. So if you are saying that I am working, I am able to study for 5 hours, and 5 hours, by 5 hours I mean full focus, that's more than enough. Okay, 5 to 7 hours is more than enough. So 5 to 7 hours, and you don't even need to study for 10, 12, 13 hours. It's humanly impractical to ask you to study for 12, 13 hours, because you have to do other things also. Your body needs some rest. Your mind needs some rest. So it's good if you are able to focus on 5 hours, but what you can do is you can improve this deep work. Okay, you can improve this. You can see, okay, how focused am I working? Am I with the right focus? So if my focus is right, then I'll say this 5 to 7 hours is more than enough time to study. If you are continuously doing it, I think that you can top the gate. It's not because I only did this much. I was able to study for 5 to 7 hours with my focus time, and then after that I used to also do other activities. But 5 to 7 hours is more than enough for any competitive exam. I don't believe in this 18 hours, 19 hours of things, because I know the brains they have their abilities, and they have their limitations also. So you should not be even targeting more than 10 hours. If you can reach 10 hours, that is at least a superhuman level. If people will be able to with focus work for 10 hours, and then you might have seen online claims, some people work let's suppose 15 hours a day, 18 hours a day. That's not working. So in 18 hours they probably are counting everything. I ate also, I slept, I drank, that's also counted in those 18 hours. Okay, and they probably, and then people doze off also. So if you sort of studied for more than 10-12 hours, so what happens is your brain stops accepting responses. It completely stops, and maybe you will be reading things, but you won't be you won't be understanding things. And after a while, let's suppose you are watching videos, you will be watching, you will be having your eyes open, but you are not, your brain is not able to pick up a single word. Okay, why? Because your brain has fatigued a lot, it needs some rest. Your brain needs a rest. As your body needs rest, your brain also needs rest. And do not believe in those studies that people study for 12 hours, 15 hours, 18 hours. It's all hoax. They don't study for 18 hours, not humanly possible. Just show me a single person who reads straight for 18 hours. Okay, if they see, so it is better to just stay away from these people. 18 hours is not humanly possible. Otherwise, like it'll drive people insane. But I am saying this 10 hours is achievable. So for an average person, 10 hours is achievable, and this is achievable, but you should focus to 5 to 7 hours, not more than this, because 5 to 7 hours, because otherwise you won't be doing it much. If you do it continuously, if you do it with persistence, and you are doing it daily, not just doing it one day then missing out on 3 days, so you are good to go. Any other questions that we have? I think Arshan is a question. Yes. Let me read the Arshan's question first. Arshan is asking, is it better to spend 1 to 2 continuous days on particular subject, or it is better to divide time for 2-3 subjects per day? So I am highly suggesting that interleave between 2 to 3 subjects. Why? Because it won't bore your brain, because you are taking different information. Let's suppose divide, because your day, let's suppose if you study for, now let's suppose 8 hours or maybe 6-7 hours. So you can divide into 3 chunks, okay, and do these 3 tasks. And then, as I said, as I give different studies, different experiments that people have performed, it's not better to learn only one thing continuously, one subject, because your brain gets fatigued a lot. Okay, and you won't be able to sort of store that information, and you won't be able to understand also. So it is better, what you can do is, you can have at least 2 to 3 subjects. Ideally 2 subjects, because 2 is enough, because there are different topics also within these subjects. So 2 to 3 subjects, have them, and read them in interleaving, and with the proper breaks. Yes, Fahad, any other question you had?
How to stop procrastination?
Yes. I'll come to that question also. I'll come to that answer. Okay.
I have a question that what are the factors that I need to consider when planning? Like I cannot be just studying. I have to dedicate some time to like de-stress myself, like exercise, go out.
Yes. I think among this whole group, I may be the most physically active person. That I can bet. Because I almost go daily to the gym at 5:30. I go to the gym and I come back around 8. Okay, this is this during this time I do the physical exercise. So you should do that also. So I am usually a morning person. I usually go in the mornings to the gym. So you can sort of plan the gym similarly. So okay, if you are that early waker and you wake up early, so what you can do is you can schedule some exercise in the morning, and it should not be that you only do exercise in the morning. You should be continuously walking. Okay, you should be doing some walking, but not continuously all the day. You should not walk. But I am saying, let's suppose you are on the desk. You should wake. You should just get up after 30 minutes. Just walk. Drink plenty of water. Okay, keep yourself hydrated. This hydration is very important. Okay, and take small meals also, because brain burns a lot of energy. It burns a lot of energy. If you are serious studying with focus, then it will ask you for a lot of energy. And then also to support your physical body, exercise. Again, there are a lot of problems with how people teach exercise. So exercise should be like this. So in the morning, evening, you should have at least 1 hour exercise while you do the continuous exercise. But along the whole day, what you should do is, you should not rest your body now. What you should do, you should at least walk. Okay, and maybe you should stretch. And then maybe after, so you should walk, stretch. Maybe after that you should do some other physical activities. Maybe go, if you have table tennis, go play for 5 minutes. Do something else. Okay, but physically you should be more or less active for the whole day. If you are not more or less active for the whole day, then it becomes a problem. Some people think that, okay, I'll do exercise for 1 hour, then I'm done for the day. No, the more important thing is you should get these things into the habit. The whole point of exercise is that you will get these things in the habit. So usually your target should be by walking some 10,000 steps. Okay, it's very easy. When you are talking on the phone, just go out and talk on the phone and walk. And by stretching, I mean just when you are staying on your chair, just get up and stretch a bit and go here and there. Okay, and you do some other physical exercise. Let's suppose you can, if you are, let's suppose, in the classroom environment, and when the class is over, then just go out, maybe stay somewhere and just stretch your body a bit, and then walking, this should be done. That's what I mean by continuous. Whenever you get up, just walk. Whenever you do something, go and do the walk, and keep yourself hydrated. Drink a lot of water. Keep on taking sips of water. Okay, it should not be like you drink just one bottle of water continuously. Okay, that's not ideal also. So what you should do is have the water bottle with you. Take sips of water. Take sips. It'll keep you hydrated. Okay, by small meals I mean have some good food, not the junk food. Junk food will make junk people. So you should have, let's suppose, some almonds, maybe some walnuts. Okay, some other food which will give instant energy. Okay, here by hydration I mean you can have water and plus some added electrolytes. Oh, I'll write this electrolytes. So electrolytes can be, you can probably just add lemon and avoid sugar. Now I am sounding like a nutritionist. So avoid sugar because it takes a lot of toll on your body. So stay hydrated, take small meals, exercise regularly, and the most important thing is sleep. I cannot stress this enough. This is very important. Okay, have a sound sleep, have very sound sleep, and this sleep it varies from person to person. Okay, some people can only sleep for 5 hours and they're fully operational, and some people probably need 8 hours. And more than 8 hours, rarely people are there who need more than 8 hours. But people need sleep from 4 hours to 8 hours. So there are a very rare breed of people who can need more than 8 hours sleep. But usually people fall in this range. And then you should also understand your sleeping patterns. Okay, you should not mess up with your sleep. So how should your sleep be? So let's suppose in my case, I usually sleep between 10 to 11. So this is my usual time of sleep. I have not kept point of time because our brain is not configured like that. It won't be working on points of time. It will be working on range of time. So here, sometimes I'll sleep at 10:30. Sometimes I'll sleep at 10:45. Sometimes I'll sleep at 10:15. Okay, because my brain is not having a precision like per minute or per half an hour. So it's better to keep a range of time. So I'll sleep between 10 to 11. But you should daily do it. Okay, and once you sleep in that, then we have different sleeping cycles. Okay, there is something called as REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. So this is the good sleep. Okay, where your body gets paralyzed and you get the best rest. Sometimes you have felt when you sleep and that you said to somebody that I was screaming a lot, but nobody could hear my scream and I couldn't move. So that is because here your body gets paralyzed. Okay, and good thing is that we have no equipment where we can see is a person watching a dream or not. So when person is dreaming, in science we don't have an equipment that we can just install and say is he dreaming. Okay, so we are not able to see is it dreaming. So there are good documentaries that know what are dreams and how do they come. It's a separate subject, but I am now sticking to the sleep. So what you should do is, so before you are sleeping, you should not take a heavy meal, please, because otherwise when you are taking that heavy meal, your body will sort of waste the energy on digesting that thing. That's why before sleeping, at least your stomach should be empty 3 hours before, more or less. Why? Because when you sleep, the whole point of sleep is to repair your body. So when will the repair of the body happen? If there is not much to digest. If you have eaten heavy meals and then you sleep, so most of your energy goes into the digestion of that food. So it is better to eat light when you are going to sleep, at least 3 hours before. 3 hours before, stop eating probably, and after that, maybe sleep. You will have a sound sleep, and then you will have these deep sleeps also. Keep yourself away from the distractions. Okay, and probably put your phone on DND mode or do something else where you don't have these distractions. Have the room completely dark. Okay, and maybe do not use your phone, let's suppose 30 minutes before the sleep. Don't use your phone, keep it somewhere else. And because our eyes, we have a gland called as pineal gland. So this gland is called as third eye. So this gland is able to basically recognize between day and the night, because it gets activated more if there is darkness. Okay, so now our brains are not able to distinguish between artificial light and natural light. That becomes a problem then. So if we are not able to recognize that thing, so what will happen is, so if there is this artificial light, maybe light from the mobile phones, light from some other devices, light from tube lights, LEDs, whatever it is, so it is better to turn them off before 30 minutes, so that you tell your brain that you are going to sleep. Okay, and then the pineal gland will start its workings and whole activities will go on. Otherwise you will become active, and many of the people are saying, I want to sleep at this time, but seriously I have trouble. The problem is that because they have seen time, they were using the mobile phone till 11, 12, 1 maybe, and after that they were claiming that I couldn't sleep. The problem is your brain was not able to identify it's night time. So stop using the mobile phone at least 30 minutes before. If you plan to sleep at, like, suppose 10 to 11, at 10 or maybe at 10:30, stop using the mobile phone. Don't use it. Keep it somewhere else. Okay, that's like, sleep is very important. Then also have waking up time. Have a waking up time. And you should track your sleep always. So what you can do is, let's suppose today you decided I'll sleep between 10 to 11. Okay, and I'll wake up between 4 to 5, something like this. If you did this, so then measure, then have an idea. Okay, when I slept on this time, I woke up at this time, what were my energy levels? So was I feeling good? Okay, was I feeling good? So what was I doing? So even if I like, let's suppose sometimes we oversleep. If we oversleep and still we do not basically feel energized. Why? Because usually our sleep cycle roughly is from 90 minutes to 120 minutes. Okay, in order to complete one sleep cycle, this is the time required, and it varies from person to person. So let's suppose if you have, let's suppose some 3 to 4 sleep cycles, that's more than enough for sleep. By 3 to 3 into 2 hours, this is 6 hours of sleep. So if you complete your sleep hours, sleep hour will start, and then you will have these REM, non-REM sleep, and your sleep cycle will get completed. So if you woke up in between your sleep cycle, then you will feel less energy. But if you somehow complete your sleep cycle, if you complete your 3 to 4 sleep cycles, that is 6 to 8 hours of sleep, then you should be feeling energetic. Now how will you feel it? You will have to figure out what is the time of your sleep cycle. And it varies from body to body. It depends completely on you, what is your sleep cycle. So usually mine is around, I think, 90 to 100 minutes that I have computed. I have done this, like many, I kept, there are some apps which where I also recorded, and I had these trackers on. I had these smartwatches which told me, okay, how much I slept. And sometimes I slept 8 hours, I did not felt energy. And sometimes I slept just 6 hours, and I felt really good. And the one of the contributions was that here my sleep cycles were completed, and here I got sort of awake around like, let's suppose within the middle, after 45 minutes, after I was in 45 minutes in my sleep cycle, somehow some distractions came, and whole of my senses became aware, and after that I had to sleep again. I sometimes, when I overslept again, this becomes a problem. So it is better to find your sleep cycle. It may be 90, 95, 100, 120 minutes, and you have to find it, and you have to try to complete 3 to 4 sleep cycles. And how you can track it? You can just keep this time of sleeping and time of waking up. You can have time of sleeping and time of waking up, and then adjust it accordingly. So when you adjust it, and ideally keep an alarm here, okay, keep an alarm over here, or maybe ask somebody to call you. Ask somebody to call you. That's ideal. Why? Because alarm you may snooze, but when you ask somebody to call you, you will become accountable. You at least will have that inner guilt, or if I don't wake up, I made other person wake up. Let's suppose your parents, you may tell your sister, you may tell other people to call you, because then it adds that element of accountability. So you will be accountable for something. Okay, you have to do that. Please keep track of your sleep. Sleep is very important. I was talking about this. Stay hydrated, have small meals, exercise, and this is the most important. See, your 1/3 of life goes into sleep. So that's how important the sleep is, because it repairs your brain. It does a lot of things, and we have not studied it completely. We have not studied sleep has not been studied completely. There is a good book by, I think his name is Alan Walker. So he has written a book, Why We Sleep. So Why We Sleep is a book. Okay, and he claims there are a lot of things. He says if you just miss 2-3 hours of sleep, and then you have high chance of cancer, this and that, and it gets like disease and this and that. So that book scares you a lot. If you read that book, it scares. So it's better not to read that book, otherwise you will scare. You will feel, oh, I should more sleep, and then from that fear, you should not sleep much. So it's better to sleep and have your own perspective about the sleep. But do these experiments so that you can find your own time. Okay, I need 6 hours of sleep. I need probably 7 hours of sleep. You will have to fix that, and you will have to see some time of waking up, and you will have to fix some time of going to bed. Okay, I'll take here a pause so that I can just drink some water. Now, the important question is, we have studied these many things. Okay, how to execute it properly. So first thing, we know the causes. Okay, let's first see the causes that we lack concentration. Okay, lack of concentration. Now, how to concentrate on things? That's the most important thing. So the first thing people say, scientifically proven method, is mindful meditation. So what I mean by this mindful meditation basically is, you should involve yourself focusing in the present moment and accept it without the judgment. So this meditation can be in the form of prayer also. So you can just pray sometimes. Let's suppose, and it's a beautiful thing for the Muslims, they pray 5 times. Okay, for the Muslims, we have to pray 5 times. So in that, this is some sort of mindful meditation where you cut off yourself from the world. You cut off yourself from the world, you live in the present moment as if nothing is there. So I would like to say what prayer means in this context. So let's suppose when you say the first, when you just stand up and stand for the prayer. Okay, so you say Allahu Akbar, that means God is the greatest. So what is the implication of this thing? The implication is that you are saying I am cutting off myself from the whole world. He is the greatest. Whatever is going to happen to my life is going to be good, probably because there is God and I have faith on Him. And then you cut off yourself and you don't worry about things that are going to happen. Let's suppose I have a class to take. Okay, I have class on, let's suppose, some 7:30. So if I pray at 6:45, so here I should not think about the class. So my prayer or my meditation should be like this. Okay, and people who are not religious people, they still meditate. Okay, for the religious people, I'm saying if you are praying the things, so what you are accepting basically is your God is so great. If God is there, so I don't have to worry about the things. So what I will do is I'll live in the present moment that time. So I'll detach myself from the whole world. That's why even the halal things which are halal usually, so eating is halal, talking is halal. So when you go for the prayer, all of this becomes haram. You cannot eat in the prayer. Why? Because the main motive of the prayer, when you stand in front of your God, so what you are doing is you are detaching yourself from all these material things. And if somebody talks to you, you don't respond to them. Okay? If somebody offers you to eat, you don't eat that. Okay? Because you are fully focused and you want to detach that. Okay? This is the first thing where you can improve attention. Okay? You can improve because you have, I'm saying the cause is loss of concentration. We cannot concentrate on things. Now, how to concentrate? The first thing is you should do this mindful meditation. For the religious people, they have the prayer, good, they can pray. And for the people who are not religious, it's all right if they are not religious. I won't try to convince the people to become religious. But if they are not religious, they should still practice this mindful meditation where they detach themselves from all the things and they basically put a pause. Put a pause. Have those moments where you put a pause on everything. Where you pause everything as if you don't have anything to do with the life, you don't have to achieve anything, go into that mode. Hardly this meditation or prayer, it takes 5 to 10 minutes. This is easily achievable. Where you just talk to some entity. Okay, if you are praying, so you are probably, so if you see how beautiful the prayer is, so you are, the first thing is you are cutting out all the ties from the external world and you are saying God is great, you are basically accepting nothing can happen to me because God is there. The second thing is saying, when you start with the gratitude. You're saying Alhamdulillah. Gratitude means you're basically sort of accepting whatever you have. You're being grateful for that. You're giving gratitude to that. Okay, and that giving gratitude is a great feeling. So if you are feeling gracious on things, the things that you have, okay, when you speak Alhamdulillah, you should be having things in the mind that you are grateful for. Okay, and if you see the whole of that tune which you read, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, I would have loved to discuss these things with you, but that will be probably some other session we'll take. But here you're being grateful for the things, you're being grateful to the God. Okay, and from a science perspective, being grateful, it's a big blessing because it does something to your brain. Because when you feel grateful towards the things, you stay very, very far from the depression. That has been seen. So if you make people feel that they are blessed enough, so the anxiety levels go down, the depression goes down because they feel they're blessed enough. Okay, that's what your prayer does to you. So first thing is you say you are in presence of the God. That's what you do. You do the things in presence of God. And second thing is you offer that gratitude. You have that gracious nature after that, and then you seek help from the God. Okay, because you know that any person that you can seek help from in this world is still a human. He has his human abilities and his human limits. And but there, let's suppose under the assumption that there is God, for the people who are atheists, under the assumption that there is God, if there is God and you have a definition of God, so what you tell the God is like, I am asking help from you. Okay, I'm asking help from. That's what you say. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Okay, I worship you and I seek help from you. Because I know that I can seek help from other people. I can seek help from the people whom I feel are mighty. I can seek help from the people whom I know they can solve my problems. But without your help, I cannot do anything. And these people whom I will be asking help to, they are after all humans. Okay, and they have also limits in their abilities. So see the beautiful nature of the prayer. See that when you live in that moment. Okay, and you perform these rituals 5 times. So this is the first thing that I'll say is do this mindful meditation, which you may call prayer if you are religious, which you may call meditation if you are not religious. So do this mindful meditation. This is a practical approach. What you can do is to increase your focus, to increase your concentration. Okay. And then the second thing after this, what you do is, as I said, let's suppose you consume videos on YouTube, you consume videos on Instagram. Please and please stay away from these short videos. Watch long form content. By long form, I mean watch videos which are roughly of 1 hour to 2 hours. Okay, what will happen by that is your focus time will increase, because you are now training your brain to focus for more time. Okay, and you are not hovering through the videos, you are just not finding this 10-minute clip or 5-minute clip, 30 seconds clip. Okay, so you are basically working, you're training your attention. Okay, and challenge, have tasks which you can achieve in, let's suppose, 1 hour. So before 1 hour they should not be able to finish, have those things. Okay, what I mean by this, have tasks like this, is where you have to invest your brain for at least an hour or so. Okay, I usually, when I play badminton. Okay, why do I play badminton? The reason behind that is because it's an intensive game. You have to have focus, you have to have mobility, agility, you have to move here and there, and then you have to keep focusing the shuttle. You have to see where the other player, a lot of brain is also involved, and a lot of physical things also involved. It also increases focus. Games like these increases focus. That's what, have tasks where these things are required. Okay, and there is a lot of research about this. So if you are involved in the task for 1 hour, you are basically what's called as working memory. You are training your working memory. You are training your working memory. So play games or do the tasks where at least you have the task which is not, if not 1 hour, at least have 30 minutes. I should be able to do the tasks which are long form, where I'll be using my brain and my physical body continuously for 30 minutes. Okay, and sleep, I said, and then these techniques that I told, this is how you can. And again, I'm writing this: avoid multitasking. Because it divides the attention. Okay, so what I here, and you should practice it a lot. You should practice it a lot. And one more thing is, optimize your environment. Optimize your environment. By that I mean, don't have distractions. When you are studying, don't have the phone. It has been also researched again. If you have the phone in the other room, let's suppose if you are studying in one room and your phone is in the other room, you focus much better. If your phone is in the same room that you study in, your focus time decreases, your concentration decreases. So it is better to optimize an environment, create a good workplace. Okay, clean the stuff around you. Okay, have that good thing, have a water bottle here, and then have that good setup where you study. That's why people usually, when they go to libraries, they study there, because the environment supports the study. But if you are surrounded by distractions, you have mobile phone at the one hand, you have some other device at other hands, something is going on here and there, you won't be able to focus much, you won't be able to concentrate. So that's why you should optimize environment, avoid this multitasking, and do the tasks which require more attention, at least for long durations, because it will train your working memory. Okay, consume a long form of content, and stay hydrated. Plus exercise, that I'm focusing, hydrating plus exercise, and plus some small meals you should be having. Nutrition is good. Okay, I think the whole of this will exercise, take these breaths. Okay, move, stretch, and that come in exercise. By hydration, I told you about the hydration, and take these meals. This is how you can concentrate better. So what I wrote so far is, the first thing is mindful meditation. Mindful meditation. So I'm making this content generic, so that if there is a person who is non-religious, so he should be also able to gain benefit. So here, for the religious people, it can be prayer. For the people who are not religious, it can be some other form of meditation. So after that, what I said is, focus on long form content. Focus on long form content. Try to avoid those 5-minute, 10-minute videos, because it is taking your focus time away. Okay, and focus on the tasks that will require greater than 30 minutes. Don't do these small tasks. Try to do the tasks where you will be at least needed for 30 minutes. So here it may be badminton, as I give an example. So if you are playing, have badminton. If you are doing some other thing, so have it for greater than 30 minutes. Then I said, avoid multitasking. Avoid multitasking. Okay, and why should you avoid multitasking? Because it divides your attention. So you should not divide your attention. Okay, and then I said, optimize your environment. Optimize your environment. By optimization, I said have less distractions, probably keep your phone somewhere else, keep your phone turned off probably, and have the clean environment, clean your table, have a glass of water there, and have the setup where you will love to work. Okay, and then have hydration, continuously drink sips of water, plus have some exercise in between. By exercise I mean stretching, some breathing. Okay, and then have some small meals. Maybe after in the break you can just maybe eat some nuts or something. Okay, so these are the high level points that I spoke in concentration. How this is how to improve concentration, how to improve concentration or focus, improve concentration slash focus. Okay, this is how you can do it. Now another question that I want to answer is how to develop interest. Maybe probably you are thinking that I don't have interest in something. How to develop interest. I'll let you absorb these things first and then we'll take this. Absorb these things. I'll here take a pause of at least couple of minutes so that you absorb this thing. This is a big question. So now if you are going to do something and then you are saying I don't have interest in this. Okay, but you know that interest, this interest term is basically a term which you don't even know what it means, which most of people, which we don't know why does something interest us, why does something look interesting to us, and why does something not look interesting to us. So there is a problem with the term. So is the interest something inherent? By inherent I mean, is it from the God, or is it in genetics that I'll get interested in this? Okay, or is there a way I can get interested in things? Is there a way I can get interested in different aspects? Okay, so it seems that you can get interest. It's not that it's something inherent. People say that if you are interested, so interest is not something that you get genetically. Okay, you are interested in this, your father was doing it, probably you're also doing it. So interest more or less comes from environment. It comes from environment. So there is a term usually people use, FOMO, fear of missing out. So if a lot of people are doing it, so other people, so if I don't do it, I'll feel that I have that fear, I'm missing out, I don't have that pursuit. Okay, I should mix in with the people. So that's why your interests develop. So usually interests are not something that come with genetics. Maybe there may be some factor, but there is not such a sign that it comes from genetics. So it usually comes from the environment. Okay, so if you are surrounded by the people who, let's suppose, play sports, play cricket, and you are definitely going to take interest in cricket. Because why? Because human psychology is such that you want to get mixed in. You have that fear of missing out. I should not have missed out. Okay, and you will pick up the things which will make you more acceptable in the environment, which will make you more acceptable. Okay, where you can mix in more. That's why you develop these certain interests. It's very rare that a person who is not from that environment develops some interest which is totally out of that environment. It's very rare. It's very rare. But usually the environment is not only the people you are with. It is also the things that you watch on YouTube. The environment is that. What you watch on YouTube. Okay, what you consume, what textbooks you read, what are the people that are around you. Whole of this is the environment, and this sum total decides what interests you. Okay, so I somehow give a broad definition of what interests you, how this interest get developed. So more or less we have this fear of missing out when we have some interest in something. As I give example of cricket, in subcontinent you will see that many people play cricket. Okay, because the game that is played here more is cricket. Very less will play football. Okay, the point here is because it's easy in our environment to play cricket, because many of the people are playing cricket, and you get acceptable if you can play cricket. If you are in an area where let's suppose they only play cricket and you want to play football, you don't have people to play with. Okay, and this environment plays a lot of role in interest. To you, for how many of you people is this at least now interest clear? The interest is not something inherent. It may be inherent some part of it, but it's more or less from the environment. Now we'll see how to develop interest. So if you have to do something, you have to develop interest into that. Okay, so I'll give you a definition. So a responsible person is the person, doesn't matter how he feels in the morning, he'll wake up and he'll try to do what he's supposed to do. It's not that sometimes I'll feel, oh my god, my back is aching. Sometimes I'll feel, today I don't have mood to do this. Okay, the world does not care about my mood. I have to get up, I have to perform in the world. So if I perform really good, that's how I'll be acceptable and how I will be basically giving some service to the society. It doesn't matter how my mood is. It doesn't matter how much fatigued I am. Probably it matters a bit, but does not that much. So what I'm saying is, the ideal definition should be that it doesn't matter and how your mood is. The best thing is that if you are supposed to do a thing, you should do that thing. As a student, your job is to study. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like studying. You should get up, develop your interest, and go get and study, because that's what you are paid for. You are paid by your parents. Right now, no world is paying you, but your parents are doing some work and they're paying you for that. And as a student, you're obliged to that. You're obliged that you should get up, no matter if you are feeling like studying or not. You should stay at the study table and try to study. Okay, that's how you should view the world, because world does not care about your feelings. So if you have to be a person like that, and you'll have to get up and see what is important, what is necessary. It is not important that I'm not feeling like doing it. Anyway, I should do it now, because that's the priority. That's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, now how to develop the interest. The first thing is exposure. Let's suppose now AIML is taking hype and you are computer science students, and you know, if I don't, let's suppose, go with with this AIML, probably I'll be missed out. Okay, many other things I won't be able to learn. I won't be able to survive better. Okay, so it's better now. You should have something how to develop interest. The first thing that is that you should expose yourself. So you should expose yourself to these things. So by exposure, I mean introduce yourself to that subject, to that activity. Okay, that's the first thing. Introduce yourself to that subject, to the activity through various mediums. So you can read articles, okay, or you can read blogs, research papers. You can watch content on this. You can watch or maybe attend some workshops, seminars, or whatever you do. So you expose yourself. So that's breadth-wise, and now you know at least some bits of these details. And after that, to foster you should have curiosity now. Now develop curiosity. Okay, you should develop curiosity. What I mean by curiosity is that you should foster a sense of asking questions. Ask questions. Let's suppose in AIML. So if I'm going to study AIML, I know this AIML is going to take off. Let's suppose in the next couple of 5-6 years, and I'll have to study it in order to survive. For the survival instinct, what I'll do is, because how will I get interest? The first thing is I should expose myself to this AIML, or expose the breadth. Okay, these are the things that happen in AIML. Okay, this is what it is, and this is why we should study it, and exposure. Then I should have curiosity. I should ask a lot of questions. So asking questions, you should see and research about a lot about it. So when you research and when you have this curiosity, when you ask these questions, and you suddenly get interest, because you somehow connect whatever you have learned in your previous course of life. So I mean, whatever you have learned so far. Let's suppose you are 25 years old. Whatever you have learned till 24, 24. So now you're exposing yourself to this AIML. When you ask the right questions, and this you use your information, whatever information you have gained till your age of 24. So what you are using the information in this AIML, and you are asking the right questions, and it's making you more curious because you have questions to address now. Okay, let's suppose I studied computer science. When this AIML came, I thought, oh, how I can use it with medical, how I can use it with medical sciences. Okay, now I know about something about AIML. Can I use for that? I had to study about medical. I have to study about biology. I have to study about neuroscience. But if you asked me in my 12th, would you study neuroscience? I'll say no, I don't want to study neuroscience. But now I have this AI as my field. So I now think, okay, I asked questions. When I asked questions, it developed a curiosity in me. Okay, how I can use this AIML into this medical domain, how I can use it to make a diagnosis, to make a report. So for that, I have to have some knowledge of medical sciences. I have to have some knowledge of biology. Okay, for that, because I'm asking the questions, I'm making myself curious. So first thing is I expose myself. The second thing is I have the curiosity. Now how to ignite the curiosities? Ask the questions. And what is information you have? What are information you have? Now ask questions related to that information. Okay, how I can do this with this, because I want to do this. Let's suppose you are doing your assignments. So right now we study about so many techniques. So if you are a computer science, you'll be thinking about, okay, I know about this tool. So my question is now, can I make a tool which addresses this problem? Because I had a problem, can I address it with this? So something like this. Okay. Then the other thing is you are now exposed. You have curiosity. Now engage with the people. By engage, I mean you should have relatability. You should find connections between you and the people who, because you should be creating the environment. This is creating the environment. Be around the people who basically speak this language, who discuss these things, who are also excited about this, who are also trying to develop the interest. If you are among those individuals, automatically you'll get the environment. Usually, if you see these tablighi people, they take you for the 40 days. It's easy. It's easy for you to pray there. Why? Because the environment is set up. Okay, you have a community there, so you should have this community. Join that community where you have like-minded individuals and they share the interest. Okay, participate in online forums, have the social media groups, have some clubs in your college, probably attend some meetups, have conferences with the people who are also interested in these things. Have these engagements. Okay, then again take the feedback and progress, I'll say. And see if you are by feedback I mean you should be constructively criticizing yourself. Okay, am I doing this right? Is the right way? Okay, and then you should also monitor the progress. Okay, till what have I achieved so far? So I did this. What have I achieved so far? So if you feel that you are achieving a lot, you'll sort of get self feedback. Self feedback mechanism is that where you appreciate yourself. Oh, yesterday I did not know this. Today I know this. Okay, now I know a little bit. I have been doing this since 2-3 months. So it will sort of have that feedback looping mechanism. It will send the information to you, and it will be a self acknowledgement or self sort of encouragement. Okay, and then you should be consistent. You should be consistent. Okay, so consistency is the key. Okay, and then after that you will start the enjoyment. So this is how you can develop interest. Expose yourself to things. Get curious. How to get curious now? Ask questions. What information you have related to this information that you got, then engage yourself, and by engage I mean create a good environment. How can you create an environment? Meet the people who are already interested in this. Okay, and then have meetings with them, and probably ask them also questions, have discussions, attend meetups, have conference in the college, have these if these events are happening, and discuss and share your experiences also. So then feedback and progress is take feedback from others, give feedback to yourself also, and monitor the progress. When you monitor the progress, you will get that self feedback, you will get that loop of feedback, and you will get encouragement from yourself. Okay, today I knew this, and yesterday I was not knowing it. For the last 6 months I have studied this much. And slowly when you monitor the progress, what will happen is if you are consistent, so what will happen basically is you will enjoy doing it slowly and slowly, and that's how you will develop the interest in this. Any questions on this? Yes, Fahad.
I have certain questions like what should my environment consist of? Like what I did previously was I was finding it very difficult to study at my home. So what I did was I shifted to my friend's place, which is let's say 10 kilometers away from my house, and then we had a pretty good month. We studied a lot and all, but after some time some things in change in my house, and I have found it really difficult to go there. So now, like, and my question is that environments change with time, like, so what I mean to say is the environment that I require to success changes over time. So how should I accommodate it?
These things are more of psychological than physical. Okay, what I mean by that is, so if you feel you can study in a certain environment, you will do that. You have to convince yourself. So you have to be self-convincing a lot. Let's suppose right now where I'm recording, so the recording studio I had at my home and the recording studio I have here is entirely different. It's very different. So I could have given myself an excuse. Oh my God, I couldn't record it properly here. I should have this and that. I should find the excuses. So better than that, whatever I have, let's utilize it better, and whatever best I can utilize it, and howsoever better I can create it. What's the best way I can use it? So I'll do that. So that it. So whatever by best I mean, whatever things I have, I'll put them in place, and I'll try to maximally use them. Okay, if I don't have the things, I won't make it an excuse that I'm not creating. I should get a good environment. So that I just give you a comparison. So my studio at my home, where I usually give classes or talks, it's way better than the things that I have right now. Here barely I have a small table and I have a camera stand and a camera. So I am managing with this. I am not giving an excuse. I won't be able to hold this because I don't have proper lighting here. I don't have proper camera setup. I don't have like proper tablet setup and stuff like that. So I am maximally using whatever things I have. So at my home, I have the studio. I'm also maximally using that when I go there. So similarly, if you change the environments, so what are the things that you have in the hand? Try to maximally sort of utilize them and convince yourself that you can work in this environment also. Because what I said is, it's more of psychological than physical. So if you convince yourself that you're going to work there, you will be working there. Okay, but it probably might be hard, but take the challenge. Okay, it may be hard, but okay, let's do this. let me maximally optimally use these things that I have currently, and I'll create the environment. Okay, Fahad?
Yes.
I think Asif had a question.
I had a very similar question, but like as you said, you should be मतलब उनके साथ रहो जो मतलब लाइक माइंडेड एनवायरनमेंट के साथ रहे. लेट्स से मेरे आसपास ऐसे लोग नहीं है जो लाइक माइंडेड एनवायरनमेंट जो कम्प्लीटली अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में है. तो
Right.
हम खुद से क्या कर सकते हैं कि मतलब हम जो काम कर रहे हैं या जो चीज कर रहे हैं जो उनसे डिफरेंट है, हम उस पे
Hmm.
फोकस कर सके, क्योंकि फिर काफी डिस्ट्रैक्शंस होती है. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैं ऐप डेवलपमेंट कर रहा हूँ, मेरे बाकी दोस्त वेब डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हैं, फिर वो
Right.
होता है कि मतलब जिस जैसा फोमो हो जाता है कि मतलब वो लोग कर रहे हैं मैं अलग कर रहा हूँ, क्या ये सही है?
So one thing is, so if you are convinced the thing that you are doing is right, अगर तुम convinced हो इस चीज पे, if you are convinced about this, and then what you do is, it is better to be alone than to be in a bad company. It is better to be in a good company than to be alone. So it is better that you be in a good company than to be alone, and it is better to be in alone than to be in bad company. So by bad company, it may not be that they are bad people. They may be doing something else which you feel is not important, but you should be able to justify it to yourself. Okay, maybe they are right. So let's suppose you took an example of web development and app development. Okay, so you can see the market. So how you can assess is that how right are you and how wrong are they, or how wrong are you, how right are they. Then based on that you took a decision. Let's suppose I won't be doing what they are doing, because to me the assessment that I did, from the assessment it seems that what I am doing is much better. Okay, let's suppose web development, if they are doing the web, probably they'll get a job, but I am doing app development, it has much future, it has better, but you should be at least having that courage to do the research and have the points in your favor, and that's how you're logically convincing yourself. Okay, you're convincing yourself that I am doing this because this is the market thing, and this is what interests me, and this is what I'll be able to do with it. And once you are convinced about that, and after that, as I said, you should find online communities, you should find online material where you subscribe, let's say on YouTube, to subscribe the channels which support your claims. There is something called as confirmational bias. So by confirmation bias, so you should conform to the things you have a prior bias. Okay, and now you don't have a bias, you actually have a proof because you have searched for the information up. After that you have to confirm these things. How to confirm? Just take the information which will continuously support your claim. That's how you create the environment. So let's suppose you are now reading AIML. Okay, so now some people might tell you, oh, you don't have maths background, you don't have this, you won't be able to do AIML. So now what happens is, okay, assess this situation. AIML, is this the future? If I do this, what is going to happen? Okay, so these are my aspirations. Is it aligning towards that? Yes, it is. So is it good to learn web development, or is it good to learn AIML? So after doing the full evaluation, you came to the conclusion that it is better to learn AIML. Now you have convinced yourself by using these quantified numbers, by using some metrics, that what I am doing is better. Now you have to sort of channelize the things properly. Whatever YouTube things that you watch it related to AIML. Whatever online forms, blogs you read, have it. Maybe in person you won't have much. You don't have much control over the in person. But the control that you have over your own environment, you make sure that you mold it according to the things that you want. But the assumption here is that whatever you are going to do, you have done your due diligence. It's not that you are just going throwing the arrow in the sky and you are saying, okay, let's see where it lands. But if you have done your due diligence, if you have research, and you are convinced that this is better, you are convinced that it aligns to your goals, you are convinced that you can do something about it. So it is better to create the things that you have control over. I won't say that you should move to the places, because that's impractical. You cannot control people. So whatever control you have on your life, you have control of the content that you watch, you have control over the things that you read. Okay, you have probably control over the online websites you visit, and sometimes you also control over the people whom you talk to. So if you can somehow control that thing, so as you confirm your biases, it won't be a bias now, so it is a thing that you now believe in, you confirm your belief rather. Okay, so that way you're fostering your environment, and you're doing the right things. But the first assumption, again reiterating this assumption, is that whatever you're doing is you have probably researched it and you have an argument in favor of that. Okay, I am doing it, this is why I am doing it. This is not like, okay, I'll be throwing arrows in the air and let's see where it lands. Okay, hope I answered the question. Asif?
Asif.
I think he gave thumbs up. Yes, I saw it.
Yes.
So last thing that I would C is the distraction that probably you might feel and how to overcome them. Okay, the distractions. The distractions that usually we have. Okay, as living in this what is called as modern era, and this is again post-modern era because modern era now we are in the realm of this world of quantum computing and stuff. So what distractions do we have and how to solve them? The first distraction, internal distraction. This is really important. Okay, please listen to me carefully. As students, as the people who are working, as the people who have families, the first thing is internal distractions. So what I mean by internal distraction is that that originate from yourself. Okay, they involve your thoughts, your emotions, your physical sensations. Okay, let's suppose mind wandering. Sometimes your mind wanders here and there. Okay, so you worry a lot. You are saying, oh, what will happen to this? Okay, you daydream. Sometimes you are daydreaming, say, here and there. Okay, so these things are internal distractions. They'll distract you internally. You worry, you have anxiety. Okay, and there may be different reasons for that. So these internal distractions can be mind wandering, you are daydreaming, you are worrying about something. So its impact is that it diverts your attention. Okay, it reduces productivity. So what's the solution again? The solution is that meditation that I said. Okay, have set of things where you self-reflect. Okay, meditation, or what I call this as prayer. Have this prayer because it will sort of free you from the internal distractions, from those daydreamings. And then we have sometimes we have emotional turmoils. By emotional turmoils I mean you have stress, anxiety, or maybe you sometimes become emotionally overwhelmed. Okay, what you can do about this is, so the things that I studied, that I spoke, I think since previous 1.5 hours, you should exercise a lot, because what will happen is it will create an emotional balance for you. The first thing is, if you are worried about your physical looks, how you look physically, so you will be very worried. You have those anxiety. Okay, nobody should comment on my physical thing. So it's better to go to the gym so that you look physically better. Okay, if you look physically better, so almost your 80% of the problems get solved, because when you go somewhere and you know that I am physically looking good, I am physically fit at least. Okay, you accept yourself, but it should not be like you are very fat and then I'll tell you, oh, you accept yourself as you are. No. Okay, if let's suppose the things that have been given by nature, your color, you cannot change it. Your height, probably you cannot change it, but your width, you can change it. Okay, because if you eat a lot, you'll probably get fatter. So it's better to at least look fit. So when you go somewhere else, so at least you should have the impression that I am at least looking average. So that will solve your one problem. The problem of that, probably you won't stress so much. And then you should also learn to communicate. These things you should learn. You should learn to communicate. You should learn to present yourself. So you at least have that confidence. So these emotional turmoils like stress, anxiety, like emotional overwhelm, these things should not, it will hinder your decision making. Okay, you should be sure to find the cause of your anxiety. You should be sure to find the cause of your stress. Okay, what's making me stressed? Okay, what's making me anxious? Why am I emotionally overwhelmed? Is it something to do with my body? Because at the age, usually at college level, people are so concerned about how they look physically. So it is better to do something about it. Okay, the things that are not in your control, they're not in your control. But things that are in your control, you should control them. Like going to the gym, exercise properly, don't eat junk, eat good food, have proper sleep. So these sort of things. Okay, so I said internal. Then you may have physical discomfort. You may have hunger, fatigue, or maybe pain, something. Address it. Okay, so what I said, internal distractions. It may have that mind wandering, so you can do meditation for that. Then you can have emotional turmoils. In emotional, what you can do is you first find the cause, what is causing it. Then you try to address the cause. Then physical discomfort, maybe you may have hunger. Then eat something. You may have fatigue. Then rest. If you have pain, then visit a doctor. Or maybe if you feel sickness, you can visit a doctor. Okay. So this is one sort of distraction, internal distractions. Then we have external distractions. There are a lot of internal distractions. So I just want to give you a high level idea. Then there are external distractions. Let's suppose notifications, something coming on the phone. So it is better when you work, you should put your phone on DND mode. Or maybe you should turn off your phone. You should put your phone in some other room. You should have your phone in some other room and then study in some other room. Try to do that. Try to have, and these social medias. So I said you can use social media. I'm not telling you not to use social media, but keep time for that also. Okay, whenever that thought of using social media comes in the mind, just write it down that I have 4 to 5. I have kept this time slot for using social media. I'll use it there. Okay, and let's suppose if you have to call somebody, I'm not saying do not call anyone. Do call people, but have that time also. I'll call the person from this to this time. So this will make you more organized, and this will sort of minimize the distractions. These are external distractions. Then probably some colleagues or family members. So what you can do is you can just ask them, okay, probably I can talk to you at this time. Okay, sometimes you can say your thing is not necessary. Probably we'll talk it in like 2-3 days. Some things like that. So there are these external distractions and internal distractions. So I will also write external distractions. So you'll have to see what are the first thing, you should be able to identify distraction. If you're able to identify distractions, then you have to find the cause, then you have to address that. Okay, and after that, sort of you will be done with, once you know the distractions, once you know, okay, these are the things that consume my time, and you should be measuring these always. Okay, oh, my phone today took this much hours. Okay, I did this and it took me this much hours. So it is better to get rid of those distractions and get to the cause of those distractions and try to solve them at that thing. Okay, and the last thing, there are a lot of things that I have written actually. There's habits, comfort, and stuff like that. But I would answer the question of procrastination. Okay, procrastination's answer I have given. Procrastination. So I actually gave a long answer to the procrastination in the in some session, I think. So I'll just maybe use bits of that. So why do we procrastinate? Okay, because we don't feel it's immediate. Okay, so why do we procrastinate is basically, so let's suppose there are a lot of reasons. I have spoke about these reasons at length, so I won't be able, maybe sometimes we'll take this procrastination, but here we'll say how to overcome the procrastination. So how you can hack your brain is, let's suppose if you have to do something, you have to do an assignment. Okay, and you know this assignment takes 6 hours. Okay, something like this. So what you can do is you can hack your brain. You can say, I'll only work for 2 minutes on this assignment, and keep this hard deadline for yourself. Okay, I'll get up, I'll work only for 2 minutes. I won't be working for 6 hours. Or you can promise yourself this. Okay, I'll work for only 2 minutes. So what you can do is, you can just work for seriously 2 minutes and just stop it, and then don't do the assignment. So what will happen is, you cross that barrier, you cross the first barrier. Okay, while you never touched it. Now you at least told your brain, I'll only do it for 2 minutes. I won't do it for 6 hours, I'll do it for 2 minutes. You broke that barrier. You broke the barrier. So once you break that barrier, now the threshold energy where you want to do that task, it becomes less. Okay, the next time if you want to do something, because for the 2 minutes at least you read that thing, or you did that thing for 2 minutes, okay, then it'll be easy to do that. Next time what you can say is, I'll do it for next 5 more minutes. Okay, I'll do it for 5 minutes, and seriously after 5 minutes stop doing it. And you know what, after 2-3 trials like this, you'll end up doing the thing. You'll say, okay, I have done it enough times, I'll do the things. This has been helping me a lot. If I have to do a long task, so what I do is, okay, I will only do it for 2 minutes. So seriously, I put a counter, I'll say, okay, this is 7:45, 7:47, I'll stop it. And I seriously do it, I'll stop it. So once I do it, after 2-3 hours, I'll say, okay, I'll do it for just 5 minutes, 5 more minutes. Okay, when I do that, and after a while I feel, okay, let's do it here. I have done it at least this much, I'll do it anyways. So these are the hacks to how you can stop. And their causes are very different. If you're taking your life very less seriously, then these are the causes of procrastination. If somebody is a procrastinator, it tells us that he does not sort of commit. And usually I give the example of in some previous session, I said that some people vote that I'll attend the session, and they don't attend the session. That's a commitment. And that they have missed a small thing. They say probably, what I have missed? I have missed nothing. But what they have done is, they have implanted that seed of procrastination into them, because they committed something, and what they did is they lied to themselves. When they lie to themselves, it becomes always habit. Procrastination is not the problem that you are just delaying a task. It's the problem you lied to yourself. If you look from a different direction, it's the problem that you lied to yourself always. You are saying, I'll do it today, I'll do it tomorrow, but you never do it. So that's the reason you should not lie to yourself also. Okay, if you are saying, I'll do it, and a small commitment, let's suppose, if you say, today I'll be appearing for the class, that means you have to appear for the class. Otherwise, what you are doing is, you are lying to yourself, and that is the root cause why do you procrastinate on the things. So better thing is that, be committed to the things. When you commit something, make sure that you do it. Why? Because it will inculcate that habit. Okay, if you sign off for a thing, you will do it. Okay, if you have that mental image of yourself, okay, I am a person, if I commit on something, I'll do it. And I'll tell you, 99% of times you won't procrastinate, because you won't be able to deform your image in front of you, because in you have an observer, in you have the doer. You are doing yourself, and there is somebody observing you also. If you lie to somebody, so what happens is, you have that thought, oh, I lied to this guy, probably people also lied to me. Let's suppose if you did not lie, then you never have this doubt, somebody will lie to me also, because you are not exposed to this wrong information. So it is better, the procrastination is not the problem. The root problem is basically the lying to yourself. And we lie in small things, and we see that they probably don't have the impact, but they have serious impact. Okay, and you told somebody, hello, I'll come there in 5 minutes, and then you don't take your time. What you do is, you come after half an hour. Oh my god. So what it does to your brain is, It tells your brain it's all right to lie. Then you are saying, I have a problem of procrastination. The problem basically lies in those small things. If you told somebody that I'll be there in 5 minutes, you better be there in 5 minutes. Okay, and you have to clock it. I'll be there in 5 minutes, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And then you will create a mental image of yourself that I do whatever I commit to. So what will happen is, so after that you have an assignment and you decide with yourself that I'll do it on Sunday. And take it from me, if you have those small habits where you commit to a thing and you do that, you will never procrastinate. Because you have a mental image of yourself. Otherwise, you lose respect in your eyes. Okay, and that's the terrible thing that will happen to a person if he loses himself. Okay, because you have a mental image of yourself, you have a confidence, and you lose that whole thing. So it is better when you commit on these small things. Try not to lie. Try to be as pure as possible to yourself. If you say to somebody, I'll be there in 10 minutes. I'll call you in 10 minutes. Be sure you call them in 10 minutes. If you, let's suppose, forget, if you call them on 11th minute, say sorry, because I missed 1 minute. So what will happen? This will give a feedback to your brain. This will tell your brain, oh, you said sorry to this, so now this is serious. So if I say 10 minutes, it means 10 minutes. If I say 1 day, it means 1 day. So you won't be the person who says 5 minutes and takes 2 hours. Okay, and these are the causes of procrastination. We can speak about the procrastination for hours and hours, but I think you got the gist. The gist is that you should not lie to yourself. If you commit to something, you should be man enough to just go to it and do it. Previously I was mentioning the meaning of the word. What's the meaning of inshallah? So usually people use inshallah in the wrong context. They use, hey, I'll come inshallah. Inshallah means he won't come. Inshallah means then he'll have a reason. He'll say, Allah did not let me to come. That's the problem. But what inshallah basically means is, I'll try my best to come. And there is only one thing that can stop me. That's God. That's the real meaning of inshallah. When you say inshallah to somebody, it should look that you are going to do this anyway. Okay, and no guy on the earth will stop you. But the only person that can stop you is God. That's why I say, I'll do it inshallah. I'll do it basically means you have committed to this, and you have committed to that extent that if you have to go on a war, I'll go. But the only thing that can stop me from doing it is God. That's the real meaning of inshallah. And you should not misquote inshallah. I'll do it inshallah. That means probably you will not do it. Okay, inshallah you should be used in those senses. You should use the language in those senses. Previously I also spoke about salam. When you speak peace be upon to somebody, assalamu alaikum. So the real meaning of that salam basically is, so you should be peaceful because of me. So in Islamic theology, in Islamic tradition, if you say salam to somebody, you cannot hurt him after that. Why? Because you told him, may peace be on you, and you cannot fight because you are disturbing his peace. Then if you have to fight with somebody, you should not say salam. Okay, if you are saying salam, it's prohibited for you to fight with the guy, because then you will be disturbing his peace. Okay, and then these, whatever you said and whatever you did does not match. Okay, that's why you cannot kill a person if he offers you water. If somebody offers you water and you are, let's suppose, in the war zone, you cannot kill him. Because water, the sign of giving water is that you don't want to fight with the guy, and he's offering you something. You cannot fight him. Like you cannot. Otherwise, if you have to fight, you should not drink the water also. And these are the rulings of the war in Islam. The rulings of the war in Islamic tradition. Okay, that's what I am saying. So why is this tradition so important? The thing is that because it does not let you corrupt yourself. If you let yourself get corrupted, then these things come up. This procrastination happens, and then you don't feel urge to do things, you don't have motivation, and all of these lose. Because the problem is that you don't care about very, very small things, very minute things. By you, I also address to me. It's not that I am speaking to you only. When I'm addressing something, it equally applies to me also. So I'm saying, so when we don't take care of these small things, these small, which we think, oh, it's all right, and we take things for granted, and they accumulate, and then they show these sudden effects. Procrastination is an effect, lack of motivation, laziness is an effect, and all these things are effect. And I'll end whole of this thing with the last line: time is like elastic, and the more you try to fit in, the more fits in. Okay, if you just try to do one thing, you will only be able to do one thing. If you try to do 2, 3, 4 things in it, it is like elastic and it's stretched out. Okay, with that, I'll stop the recording. If you have any questions, I'll take those.